You wouldn't have told the kids you were going to get married. You only would have told them afterwards, but sooner?
I definitely would have told them sooner.
But not before?
No, not before, no. No,
You guys are like allergic to planning, and I love it.
We are.
Joanne has learned not one thing about how her actions affect her loved ones. She keeps saying, oh, people elope all the time. This should be the happy part. At her big age, she doesn't realize that in order for them to get to the happy part at all times, her loved ones have to process, and she is acting like an annoyed teenager. If we've taken anything away from the reunion, is that Joanne seems to be speaking for her and Shawn in saying that they have no regrets with how they've handled it. In fact, they're still keeping secrets. Let's get into it. Hi guys, welcome back to Nikki Faces Reality. We are here to discuss 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way, the tell-all part 2. This particular video is going to be talking about Joanne and Sean. I feel like coronaandingi, it was a lot of the same thing. Tataandjames, they're still miserable. We finally get some sort of resolution kinda on the Joanne and Sean arc. I definitely want to close the loop for us. Before we do, as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. But let's just jump straight in. Let's address the elephant in the room. Shawn had told us that he was banned from coming to America because he had overstayed his visa once. He said that, he couldn't come for like a few years, which is why Joanne was traveling back and forth. Come to find out, he in fact wasn't banned. They applied for his citizenship so that he can get a green card in America, so that it can, make it easier for him to come and it would lift the ban. But when he was doing the paperwork, he found out that he wasn't actually banned. That story sounds a little sketch to me, but I was like, okay, whatever. Like, you got your green card. Now you can both do the traveling back and forth. These two are allergic to making any plans. He doesn't know how long he'll be here for. He doesn't know if he's gonna move. He doesn't know anything. But I think what's even more offensive is that he hasn't told his daughter where he is. His daughter thinks that he is in England. And he's like, yeah, she would be really upset if she knew that I came here without her because she wanted to come here. You are the parent. You can have a conversation with your daughter. She told you after the lie was revealed that you had been married for 2 years. She told you, don't do it again. If I were to be in this relationship as either Shawn or Joanne, I would have some serious trust issues because they're just so nonchalant about their lies. And no lie is too big, no lie is too small, nothing is sacred. And that is scary. But anyway, they hop over that topic and they bring out Joanne's mom, Donna, but she's on camera. And from what I remember, these tell-alls are filmed in the city. Why isn't Miss Long Island present? Anyways, as we know, her mom had really strong feelings about Joanne freaking eloping because she's like, we're best friends and you didn't tell me. But she doesn't put any blame on Shawn because she just met Shawn. If anything, she's only spent like 2.5 days with him. Her daughter owes her that loyalty, that respect. But she says, I met him for 2.5 days. He was great. I wish that I would have been there to celebrate them, but it is what it is. She makes a joke about the fact that she gets why her daughter was flying over there so often. But still, even though she's happy for them, it doesn't change the fact that she's hurt by the fact that her bestie, her daughter, went off and got married and didn't tell her until much, much later. And I get it. I have a super opinionated mom. I get sometimes just not wanting to hear it. I get it. However, in this initial instance where your mom is talking about it, she's not being rude. She's not embarrassing you in front of these people. She's just saying, I am happy for you. I'm glad that you found your happiness, that you found your person, but I am hurt that I wasn't there, that I wasn't included, that I wasn't considered. And Joanne looks so annoyed. She is reverting back to her teenage self where she's just like, oh, mom, it's giving that energy. And I learned late 20s that if you want to be treated like an adult, if you want to put your foot down, you have to stand by your decisions. You made this decision. your decision hurt people, you have to deal with the fallout of it. But to be annoyed that anyone expresses anything, whether it's your mom, whether it's your kids, whether it's whoever, like, not only is it childish, it's selfish, it's inconsiderate. You want people to consider your feelings so badly, but you are like blind to how other people may feel. I would say that Joanne is selectively trying to block out everything because she's like, my happiness first. And her happiness matters. No one is saying to put your happiness in the back burner, but this all could have been handled differently. And she just keeps saying that she's like, doesn't regret it. She's not apologetic. And her mom is like, listen, I'm not saying that you should regret it. This is just how I feel. Shekinah butts in and is like, oh, well, I can see why your daughter didn't tell you anything. And it's like, Shekinah, and Donna's from New York and she's going to clap back. She's like, I know that the woman that abandoned her daughter for some troll in Turkey is not talking to me about my daughter. There's no way. Shekinah is obviously appalled at this, that Donna would come at her motherhood, but you got in someone else's business. You should have just kept it cute and mute because you are not one to talk. Donna says that like she's her mother, she doesn't have to earn respect, it should have been given to her. That can be argued. I do think that you do have to earn respect. I think what Donna is probably feeling, how I see it, she's been there for Joanne through thick and thin, right? You made sure to tell your mom anytime you were going through some hardships. You made sure to call your mom when you needed her to be a mom for you because you were flying to Ireland for some D. Your mom was present for all of that. She was in the know for all of that. Yeah, if I were Donna, I too would be hurt that then you were going to go ahead and get married and not tell me until 2 years later, like I'm just everyone else. Because that's also another thing, right? Like, there was no like, oh, let me tell her in a way that she'll feel special still. Because of course the marriage is between you two. But I also feel like weddings and things like that, they're for your family. It is about them. If these are the people that you're going to want their support, if you're going to want them to champion your marriage, then they should be in the know in some way. 2 years later, I would have blocked her, honestly. All of it is just so disrespectful. And like, she did that to her kids too, where she was like, well, you know, I value your opinion. I'm not going to make any moves, you know, until I hear how you feel. Ma'am, you got married and then your kids were an afterthought in that. And so then they proceed to play the scenes where, you know, she tells her mom, the scenes where she breaks the news to her kids. And she says that she's hurt by her kids' reaction, but I can't see hurt. I see shame. I don't see hurt. And of course, you guys, we can disagree, but I just don't see hurt from her. And everything that comes out of her mouth, I'm just like, wow, you should be ashamed. Even further, because I think Shawn asks her like, well, you know, is there anything that you would change? And she's like, no, I would probably tell them sooner. And Shawn is like, oh, so you wouldn't have them as part of the planning? You wouldn't tell them before? And she says no, that she wouldn't tell them before, that she would do it just sooner. She wouldn't wait 2 years. And she's like, I mean, people elope all the time. It's normal. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, sure. People do elope all the time. But usually people that are young and have no kids, or at least have kids that are grown. These children depend on you. You got married to a man that they haven't even met. And you're going to tell me that you care about their feelings? You're going to tell me that you considered them? You're going to plan a whole move to Ireland and have it depend on how they feel so that then you can like turn it on your kids when you could have been an adult about it and orchestrated it in a way where you set yourself up for success. But she has this like, I don't care. It's my life. Everyone just needs to shape up and get with it. It's that energy. And her mom, Donna, is like, it's just so hurtful that you would do that. And she says, she's like, I wouldn't have stopped you. And Joanne is like, you wouldn't have stopped me. You wouldn't have told me that it was a bad idea. Here's the thing. She would have said it was a bad idea because the optics of it are not great. But at the end of the day, you're going to do what you want. You are a grown woman and your mom knows that. But people that love you want to protect you. And moms are always going to say something. Now, if your mom was toxic and you cut her off, I understand that boundary. I will always respect that. I think, again, what's insulting is that your mom feels needed by you in all these other areas, but then in this area where you know that would matter to her, you're like, actually, I just still don't want you part of it. You'll find out about it later. Hope you're okay with it. Like, that's hurtful. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying. Ultimately, Donna's like, would I have shared my opinion? Yes. Would I have gotten in your way? No. The point is, I feel like I was robbed of celebrating you. And so Shawn is like, okay, so are you gonna have a celebration for your family to be present? And she's like, yes, we are gonna have that, but it's gonna be in Ireland. So whoever doesn't want to be there will not be there. And the way that she says it, it's like a dig at her mom because her mom didn't want to go to Ireland initially. And it's so nasty.
You know, they're gonna see us get married. They're gonna come there. They're gonna come to Ireland. And whoever doesn't want to get on a plane.
I'm getting on the plane.
Oh, okay.
Like, why do you have to be nasty like that to your family? Like, she did something to you. And maybe she did. Like, again, I don't know anything about their personal life. I'm just reacting based off of what we've seen. And based off of what we've seen, is her mom loud and proud and in your face? Yes. I don't think her mom has been disrespectful. I think that her mom is reacting to disrespect. So her being like, well, if you want to go to the wedding, if you want to celebrate it, you're going to have to get on a plane. Sure, she will because it's your wedding. Of course she's gonna get on a plane for your wedding. Initially, you wanted her to get on a plane for some random dude because you weren't honest about the state of your relationship. But the reason that Joanne gets zero redemption, in my eyes, she's still keeping secrets. Her father doesn't know that she's married. And so again, it's like insult over injury. She says that her daughter, she's like the light of his eyes. She's, you know, his little girl. He's super Catholic. He's gonna be hurt by this. So she wants to find an opportunity to tell him one-on-one, to make him feel special. She knew that her mom would be loud and they would get over it. But still, she didn't make it special for her mom. But for her dad, she's like, you know, he's gonna be upset, so I want to give him the time to process. Ma'am, you have had 2 years and counting to tell your father. And now you're saying on camera that 2.5 years later or so, maybe 3 years now, everybody but your father knows. And now everyone that's watching the show also knows. I don't understand how that to a 40-something-year-old woman makes sense. He's going to be so deeply hurt, but even his own wife is keeping the secret because his daughter is a coward. This is cruel, honestly. Honestly, it's just so cruel. And you guys may disagree with me, but I don't think that elopement works in all cultures. In Latin cultures, your family is such a vital part. In Italian cultures, your family is such a vital part. There was a moment that my family thought that I had eloped. This is some Nikki T, which was false. I was not even engaged. But there was a moment that my family thought that I eloped and they were so heartbroken, and I had to send like a mass text being like, y'all, come on now. But they were so heartbroken even at the idea to have your family member, when you have a family structure like this, tell you that they eloped and it's like 2 years later and they have this secret life that you aren't even a part of. Like, that hits to a different level. It's really disappointing that she still doesn't get it because I think her lack of awareness kind of taints their love story. I think that Shawn and Joanne, BS aside, are super solid. And I just think that they went about this in all the wrong ways. And she wants people to desperately, like, you know, celebrate their love and like hold it up high. But you owe your loved ones time to process so that they can make it to the other side. But the more you fight against it, the more they're going to give you pushback. You could have had these people deal with this pain 2 years ago. And now you're 3 years into your marriage, still not being celebrated, and it's on you. You delayed the inevitable. We didn't get to hear much about how her kids are doing, what the state of their relationship is like. But if Shawn was any indication, they're still lying to these kids. And they still, after all of the conversations that they've had, they have not provided any structure for their family. They're still in limbo because he doesn't even know if he's moving here. She still doesn't know if she wants to move there. They have no set plans for these kids that heavily depend on them. Because Shawn has full custody. She shares custody with her ex-husband, but her kids are still very young. Their behavior to me is so trash, and it just taints any love story that was here, personally. I would love to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comments, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I think you'll get this before Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving. I hope that you have a beautiful day with your loved ones. Make sure to take a moment to express gratitude, whether it's in your journal, whether it's face-to-face. I'm thankful for you guys. Thank you for a beautiful year. I can't believe we're almost at the end of it. Anyway, have a good day.